Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about state and descriptors as we get into go time and grow time, right? So we're 13 months out from election day, right? And it's getting real. Like, we are very close. Vivek Ramaswamy is rolling into the third Republican debate, and we're having the third Republican debate, and there have been zero Democrat debates. Zero. That's astounding. That is truly incredible that the Democrats have shut down literally any conversation on their side, right? Whereas the Republicans, this is a huge moral win. The fact that the Republicans have had debates and are having the candidates debate openly, and the Republican candidates are up. They're sharing their ideas, and all the Republicans that matter are in the debates and showing the American people that they have courage and that they have capability, and it's a big deal, right? So what I want to talk about is, this is the second in a video series on state and descriptors, right? And the reason why is we are going to have a huge amount of information. We have a huge amount of information that's coming in for Vivek voters, for people who are excited about Vivek, people who celebrate Vivek every day, and people who are really getting into go time and grow time to get Vivek where he needs to be the 2024 U.S. president, right? So that America can move forward into a day of benefit rather than a day of deficit, right? That's what President Joseph Biden and his supporters have brought us into massive deficit, and it's bad, right? Okay, so I want to talk about the second state and the descriptor that applies to that state. And the second state, and this is, how do we talk about the events of reality, the state of reality? So I've already talked about the state of truth, and the way that we describe truth is through epic, right? We tell an epic, right? We tell an epic to describe truth, okay? I've already described that state. Now I want to talk about the state of reality, right? So Vivek is in the 2024 U.S. presidential race. There's a massive amount of information that is flowing down, right? And that needs to be understood, right? And today I want to talk about the state of reality and the information that's coming in from reality, right? Let's talk about what reality is, right? So let's talk about reality. Reality right now, we have a long shot candidate, right? And the reason why is there have been 44 word cleavers. And if you look at the history of America, that history says, listen closely. If you're not a word cleaver, you don't win. That reality was broken once, right? By President Barack Obama. I voted for him twice, right? And by the people of this nation who choose to make equality and inclusion real, right? And that's very important and very significant, right? And so that is a very important reality, right? And it's very important that we have this situation that occurs, right? So where do we, so reality is we have a long shot candidate in that it's going to be extremely difficult to get the first Indian American president, because we've only had two presidents, right? The American people do not allow variance in the presidency. We have chosen a word cleaver for 44 times. One time, right, we chose a president who was not, and we gave him 8 years, which is great. So we elected him twice, right? But the reality is, putting a second person of color into the presidency is going to be incredibly difficult. It's a noble quest that you and I are on. We are the heroes of this nation, right? Fighting against the villains who want to make sure that ward cleaver presidents are cemented forever, right? And anyone backing President Joseph Biden, anyone backing, President Donald Trump is saying, no women, no people of color, no one who is not a ward cleaver, right? And I know they want to sleep at night, but that's the reality of it. They are solidifying one of the most horrific traditions in American history. And honestly, I will tell you right now, if you ever voted for President Trump, I don't know how you sleep at night. If you ever voted for Biden, I don't know how you sleep at night. And the idea of even thinking about voting for twice is unthinkable. It's a villainous act. No two ways about it. Be clear, right? But the reality is there is a reality. There is a reality that we have a long shot candidate. And I get people up on this channel. I will tell you, I could point you to 10 different videos that say Vivek's going to be a landslide. That's not reality. That's not reality. We are going to have a heavy lift, right? We're going to strain some muscles to get him there, right? And he's going to strain himself to get him there. He is going to strain to get himself there. It is going to be outrageously difficult. And it's going to be tooth and claw every single step of the way, right? And I think if we get it there, we'll be lucky to have a 3% margin, right? And so we have a reality that we have a long shot candidate, right? Now, there are many other realities around Vivek Ramaswamy. One, I think a very real a very significant reality is he is like no candidate we've had in a very long time. We have never in my lifetime had a candidate under 40 years old. That is huge, right? The ability for him to, I honestly believe if Vivek Ramaswamy gets in, you're going to see a presidency the likes of which you have never seen before. I think he'll be in the White House one day every 3 months. He'll be all over this country. He'll be moving like lightning, right? It will be an action presidency, and that is huge. That is a really, really big deal, like an action presidency, okay? And again, I don't think you have any idea what's coming, right? And so this is a president that the reality is there's so much hope behind him. And also the idea that we would have our second person of color in office. The hope around that is huge. But there's a reality behind this candidate. He is a long shot. He is young, right? Everything will change the moment he gets in, right? And that's a reality, right? Now, how do we talk about reality, right? Narrative. We craft a narrative to match the reality that has occurred, okay? And you're like, well, why is it important to distinguish that under truth is told through an epic and reality is told through a narrative? Well, the reason why is we're going to receive information. When are we receiving truth? When you hear someone speaking in an epic, right? When are we receiving narrative? When you hear someone speaking in a narrative. When are we receiving reality? When you hear someone speaking through a narrative. It's important. This is extremely important to understand, all right? So one, I know this is a very unusual series. I really appreciate your patience. Stay with me. We're almost through it, right? Truth is delivered through epic. Reality is delivered through narrative, okay? And we will get information about Vivek Ramaswamy through epics, which will be truth, and through narrative, which will be reality, okay? But there's two more states and two more descriptors. I'll see you in the next video.